What? Hello, you lovelies. Welcome to a very special episode, a haphazard episode of Coycast. Whilst Jake travels, we don't know when this episode drops. We don't know when we'll be back, so we didn't want to have too much dead air, because if there's anything Harrison Ford taught me, if there's dead air, it's theirs. It's our responsibility to make sure that we are here for you as much as possible. So in honor of Harrison Ford's 82nd birthday 3 days ago as of recording, we are giving you a little bonus. These are the hotline calls from the last time we were together whilst Jake triumphs across the country. How you doing, man?
I love how many qualifiers there are now to this episode, because now
I
you're
really
like,
enjoyed the rant I got to have.
His birthday, as of 3 days ago of recording. Here are the hotline calls we have from the last time we were together. There's like
when is this playing? Who knows? What is time? Relative.
I feel like this is like the world's shittiest like mystery game, like who done it. It's gonna be like, figure out what day it is. Oh, all right, it's pretty easy. It's
because now you can air it in like August 15th, sure. And we'd be like, we covered our butts. We're trying to come back.
Qualifiers, baby, qualifying everything. Anyways, yeah, we have some hotline calls. Coy, if people want to call the hotline, how do they do that?
818-794-0722, which has now been committed to memory because someone gave me crap for not having it in. Look at my phoneless hands. 818-794-0722 is the number to call. And you can also send a voice memo to contact@coycast.com. I always say it. You guys are my co-hosts. And I love the way the conversation gets guided with you lovelies. So as much as Jake is a pretty face, it's you guys that steer this in those errant directions. So
rude.
Bring it on. What do we got this week?
Hey guys, it's Doug from Central New York, Duger13 on Discord and Twitter. Funny story and a question for you. First, I went out to dinner with my family last week and I had the POP on while we were driving and was happy to have them listening to my favorite pod. And after about 20 minutes, my wife, who is not an avid pop culture fan or follower at all, said, "Oh, I like these guys and their chemistry and banter. I can see why you like them and can picture you totally hanging out with these guys and talking your nerd shit." It made me laugh, and I wanted to share that with you. Secondly, a question for you both. With shows like Why the Last Man, Umbrella Academy, The Boys, Paper Girls, The Walking Dead, and the upcoming Criminal series, are there other comic IPs or series or runs that you would like to see adapted to live-action TV? I'm guessing that either Saga or Something is Killing the Children would have to be on that list, but I'm curious if there are others you can think of. My top choices would probably be Ex Machina by Brian K. Vaughan, not to be confused with the 2014 Alex Garland movie, or a Young Avengers TV show for Disney+, maybe directed and produced by the Duffer Brothers of Stranger Things fame, which I think would be awesome. I'm guessing that it's probably going to end up being an upcoming movie announcement, but I think I would much prefer that to be a TV series. Anyway, happy summer to you both, and stay sweaty. Bye.
Duger, thanks for the kind words. Tell your loved one that we agree. We're fantastic. But
also, if memory serves, your brother was at Golden Apple when I was at Golden Apple and didn't say hi to me. Sure. I got a tweet when I had left, and I was like, well, guess I didn't meet the brother Dugan after all. All right, so brother Duger, if you're hearing this, you're on notice.
This was heartbreaking to listen to because
all those shows are off.
He started rattling off all of these comic book adaptations, and I'm like, fuck, didn't see it, didn't get to it, not enough time. There's so many, like the fact that I still haven't seen Paper Girls yet, the fact like there's so many shows. What he didn't mention was Preacher. What he didn't mention, like there's fucking Jupiter Rising.
Hit Monkey season 2.
Hit Monkey season
week.
2 just dropped. I did watch the first season. That was fucking fantastic. Like there's so much shit. Sweet Tooth, fucking like there's just so much. So as far as what else, yeah, I don't know. Saga, I guess. I don't know. It's just, Saga's tough though because I don't know. Every now and then. You dumb.
I just hit everything. There we go, back.
Tighten your shit up.
There we go, back.
Every now and then though, something comes along and like whenever I hear people talking about it, adapting it, I go like, I just don't know that I'm ever gonna like it. Like I feel, you know what else I feel that way about? Not a comic book, but every time people talk about a Metal Gear Solid movie or TV series, I go like, it's too fucking specific Well, it's also there's a lot to it. First off,
I
and it's
wouldn't
so
want them to truncate
specific.
it.
Yeah, and it's also just so specific and weird, and like it's this playing it is its own brand of entertainment and adapting that in a way. I don't know that I'm ever really going to get the same
I love
thing out
Metal
of it.
Gear enough. I don't want to see it adapted. And I
And
think I love Saga enough. I don't want to see it adapted.
I might have that feeling about Saga, but at the same time, I go like, yeah, why not? I don't know. Can I be in it? Can I be somebody? I
mean, I
wanna be the
also
voice
like
of
to be
Gus.
proven wrong.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it'd be nice to be like, oh, why they did do that. And I've been
100%.
proven wrong enough to want it. I've
Sure.
also been proven right enough to be worried. I would say Deadly Class. They already tried, but I want more Deadly Class, and I love it dearly.
Sure.
A lot of Rick Remender stuff would be really well adapted. I think you listed Ex Machina. I think Brian K. Vaughan, obviously of Saga and Paper Girls and everything else, is very ripe for adaptation, but I think Rick Remender is right there as well. I would love to see Scumbag. I would love to see Deadly Class get another try. I would love to see his current The Sacrificers. He's got a comic right now called Grommets, which I adore, and it's a skateboarding comic set in the 80s that literally just feels like a slice of life living in the 80s. I was only alive for 2 years of the 80s, so I only have so much context, but it feels like the movies of the 80s, and it also feels like a chill hang, and I really like when a comic can feel like a hang. So Grommets is a good time. I hope that answers the question. Yeah, those are some of the highlights for sure.
Mr. Miracle.
I mean, I was avoiding Big Two, but I mean, if you're going to look at any trade paperback from the Big Two, Mr. Miracle is my number 1 through 5. It is so comfortably in my book.
I've said this before, but there's a little Western comic that I absolutely love by Brian Irizello called Loveless. I would love
Great
to.
book.
I would love to, that. I like that's what I love about it is that I think it's 18 issues, maybe. I don't know. It's like it's not long. It's not a big. And I'm just like that is the sort of thing where it's like it's prime for a season of TV or a movie, even like depending on what part. It's interesting story with interesting perspective. It can be told in a way that is culturally important, considering it's surrounding like the Civil War and people's placement in the world that they live in. And I don't know, like I'd fucking love to be a part of that shit, to be honest with you.
I'm really excited for Criminal, which is happening. Criminal being that great crime anthology.
Right.
I think 100 Bullets would be dope.
Wait, they made 100. Didn't they make 100 Bullets? Isn't it on? Oh no, I'm thinking of DMZ. Never mind. I confused those two books.
I was like, wait.
I confused. Yeah, those two books are for some reason in my head I can't separate them.
What's funny is they've made enough things that I have missed, like you,
Right.
but like that one, I was like, did I miss a favorite?
Oh, by the way,
anthology?
they made a DMZ show. Like there's
Yep,
there's so many things.
100 Bullets. Tom Hardy was trying to get made for a while and hasn't happened. That'd be a cool one. But yeah, thank you for this question. Tell your brother to say hi next time.
Hi, Coy. Hey, Jake. Coy, congratulations on the engagement. This is Maslam of the Legendary Fighting Federation, just in case you don't recognize my voice by now. And I was just calling to say congratulations, and also I thought it was really cool how all of your friends dressed up in elaborate costumes, and then when it was all said and done, got to reveal themselves. And it got me to thinking, if you had any really good, famous, secret identity reveals, not like, oh, it's Batman as Bruce Wayne, but like, oh no, that guy on that beggar on the street turned out to be Bruce disguised as Batman all along. You know, like, it's probably something bigger than that. But yeah, if you had any good, like, reveal moments of, sure, you thought I was so-and-so, but I'm actually somebody else. I mean, for Jake, I'd say, because Coy, I know you're not a wrestling fan, but Jake, the wedding of Billy and Chuck, when the preacher goes, marriage could last for an eternity or 50 years or maybe only 3 minutes. And it was revealed it was the evil guy who, so, you know, there's too much explanation. But at the time, hearing the phrase 3 minutes meant that stuff was about to go down. But yeah, anyway, I was just curious. Got any good moments of that? I love a good surprise. Anyway, have a good day, y'all. Bye.
So the old pull off the mask and it was me all alongs in the world of comic books. He's talking about a very specific thing in wrestling that I don't actually remember. I know it happened, but I don't think I was watching at the time. So sorry, I can't commiserate with your Billy and Chuckitude. I know the moment, but anyways, this is a tough one for me because I can think of like when they revealed a character's identity for the first time, but not that it was another person that you know already.
Yes, and I think that is the specific context.
Right.
I was like,
I mean, Red Hood.
Yeah.
Like I remember that, but like, yeah.
I think there was, I'm thinking of like Hobgoblin reveal was big, but that was just like because he was in the newspaper.
Right.
As another character, I'm drawing a total blank.
Yeah, this is a tough
and I love
one.
this question because it ties into my engagement, so I appreciate the specificity.
Yes. No. Well, it's a thinker.
I have to think about
we
this.
might have to throw to the Discord for this one. Answer this one.
Yeah,
on the Discord,
I will
everybody.
love to have this conversation in the Discord because I know as soon as we stop recording, I'll have 5 of them because
Right.
I won't be thinking about it, and I'll be like, oh, of course.
Yeah, I feel like
I'd know if it weren't for those meddling kids. I can't think of the Scooby-Doo answer here. It's just like my brain won't let me have it.
what's the fucking big one from X-Men?
Oh, Zorn and Magneto was dope.
Zorn. That I couldn't come up with the name.
Zorn was dope.
Couldn't come
I
up with the name
love that
Zorn.
reveal. That's a great one.
I think that's probably, even though I couldn't come up with the name Zorn.
What's that one? Yeah, that one.
But yeah, no, this is a fun question. I would be curious because I do love these moments, Llama. Like these are always fun, especially when they land and they're good and it's not like oh,
Zorn.
fuck, it was that, right? You know what? This is just because peak Jake teenage comic book, probably not even teenage, probably preteen, I don't know. Image comics, like the era that made me like definitively like comic book diehard. I remember when was it Shadowhawk? The comic book where he pulls his mask off on the hood to reveal who he is, because we've never seen who it was for the first like 4 or 5 issues. And then there's that one whole issue about the guy who's like some racist lunatic who's out there like, you know, like, oh, I'm just like you. I'm like beating up poor black people because that's what you do, right? And then he takes his helmet off to reveal he's a black guy. And I remember being like, oh shit, boom, cultural fucking importance in 1997 or whatever the fuck it was.
In the 90s, in a very edgy time in comics.
I just remember me as a kid being like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Racism's badass.
You guys read that? Did you read it?
Anyways, all right, let's see what else we got.
Hey, Coy. Hey, Jake. This is Gilbert up in the Bay Area, and I just had a quick theory based on something I noticed, and a buddy of mine noticed, so I just thought I'd bring it up to you and see what you think. So we're getting a third Beetlejuice movie, right? I didn't see anything announced, but if the first movie says his name once and the second movie says Beetlejuice twice, then we should be getting a third movie, right? Because, I mean, that's kind of how the whole rules work for the conceit of the universe, correct? So how is this going to work? How are we going to get a Beetlejuice? Oh shit! I said it 3 times. Gotta go.
That was well done. Well
Gilbert.
done. I assume when they named the next one Beetlejuice, that if this one does well, they're at the ready. But it's also really funny because like it's very presumptuous if they don't have a script yet.
Sure.
Like as soon as they announced the title, I was like, all right, so they got a lot of expectations here.
So
it looks good, luckily. Like
Right, well, because-
Beetlejuice.
It also like it makes sense because the first one's called Beetlejuice, the second one is called Beetlejuice, and the third one is called Threedlejuice.
Of course, like Fast Five, you got to start naming them fun. Also, if they don't call the fucking third Now You See Me, they already fucked up once with not calling the second one Now You Don't. If they don't call it Now You Three Me, I'm out.
Now you three me. All right, here's my question though: what happens in the world once the third movie comes out? Because
Do
if
we
the
all live
bit-
in the
if
Beetlejuice
the
world because
bit-
he takes over?
Yeah, but if the bit is that you say his name 3 times, and they are establishing that by making the first movie, that's just one. By
Right.
naming it Beetlejuice. By naming the second movie Beetlejuice, they are now telling us by making that movie, that is number 2. So if this is a Universal movie, right? I mean, Beetlejuice is at Universal Studios, so I assume
Yeah, I
it's a
think it's
Universal
Universal,
movie,
yeah.
right? So what needs to happen is that once the third movie comes out, they need to hire a person to change their name legally and live their lives as Beetlejuice and just torment everybody in the world. And then it needs to be like, oh, yeah, it's just marketing.
I think after the third Beetlejuice, they need to allow Michael Keaton to star as Beetlejuice in other Universal films, implying he is now canon in the Universal world.
Okay.
Like, I want to
Okay.
see Beetlejuice in Fast 11.
Oh, I get it. So he's like infiltrated.
Like, if you say his name
Right.
3 times, he's permanent. So
You know
I'm
what?
saying, like, the implications are he is now a Universal canon character.
That's fantastic.
Wherever Michael Keaton chooses.
Also, sidebar, that's one of Alexandra. She always says it's one of her favorite stupid bits from Community is in season 3.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Season 3 when they say Beetlejuice for the third time, and then Beetlejuice just walks by in the background at the Halloween party. A+. All right, we got thanks
Warner
for the,
Brothers.
thanks
Sorry,
for-
I was Googling. It's a Warner Brothers film.
How is he?
They
how,
must ha-
how is he?
They
at
must
all
have
the
a
theme
deal
parks?
like the
Probably.
Mississippi with Marvel
Probably.
at the parks.
Right.
So sorry to clarify, Warner Brothers. So when Beetlejuice
Great.
shows up in Batman,
He's already so he
and
was.
Michael Keaton plays Batman and then plays Beetlejuice, multiverse.
There's no way he wasn't already in fucking Space Jam.
That's canon. Here we are.
All right. Thanks for the call. I think we got one more.
Coy, producer Jake, Mitch from Brisbane, Australia here. First time, long time. Love the show. Love your opinions. Love your reviews. Love your tangents. All of it. Too much is never enough of Coycast. Now, like you guys and everybody listening, really looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine. As I record this, it's 2 weeks until its worldwide release. And I guess like a lot of us as well, I'm in the middle of doing some rewatch homework with the X-Men Fox films and the Deadpool movies as well. And I realized that one of them is part of a very special group of movies for me. I have still never seen X-Men Dark Phoenix. I missed it in theaters. And I think because it was the only X-Men movie that I didn't experience in the premium format on the big screen, it's taken a little bit of the urgency out of wanting to watch it and experiencing it for the first time on even a television screen. The bad reviews don't scare me. If anything, they make me more interested in watching it, but still, it hasn't happened. And I think I tend to forget that movie even exists, let alone never having seen it. Similar circumstances, I've still never seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I've seen every MCU film on the big screen. It didn't happen for me. I had to pull out of a premiere event 2 hours before going to see it. And then I really wanted to see it with my brother and my best mate who see a lot of these MCU films for the first time together. We couldn't make those planets align and still haven't made it happen over the next 18 months, though we are closer to watching that than I am X-Men Dark Phoenix. But then I realized there are 2 other movies in the superhero genre, which I tend to tick every box, that I also haven't seen. One being Morbius, another being Madam Web. 4 of the, if not among the worst reviewed superhero films in recent memory. But there, I realized, lies an opportunity to not only watch these films, but to make something of an amazing marathon for myself and experience them all possibly in one glorious 8-hour sitting. Now, you guys, having seen these films, which order would you recommend me watching X-Men Dark Phoenix, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Madam Web, and Morbius? Love the show, guys. Look forward to hearing your thoughts, especially you, producer Jake.
Mitchell
What
from
a day you're
Brisbane.
gonna have.
Mitchell from Brisbane asking me to kill him. This is
but
akin.
in what way do you want to murder this man?
Just call me Jake Kevorkian because, oh my gosh. All right. So the 4 movies we're being tasked with ordering in it for a marathon is Dark Phoenix, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Morbius, and Madam Web. So I think, in my opinion, I think you start with Phoenix because I think that it's really bad, but you already love all the characters in it. And so you will probably be kinder to it as your first bad movie marathon movie. It won't immediately crush your spirits to watch more
you
movies.
cannot start with some, like there's one of these you can't start with.
Are we agreeing with that? It's Madam Web you can't start with?
It's Madam
'Cause
Web.
Yes,
You can't start with Madam
cannot. All right. So that I would do that. And then, so I would start with Dark Phoenix. And then I would immediately go to Madam Web. Because if you have that energy still,
You need momentum.
you will not watch Madam Web 3rd or 4th. Like it,
you might not get there. You won't survive.
well, you'll tap out halfway through the movie because Madam Web at its core is not just illogical. It's so fucking boring.
It's just bad.
It's like unengaging. It's like easy to, you will be on your phone. And if you're going to do this by yourself, good luck. If you can do it with other people and you're going to be talking through it and having jokes and eating snacks, eat tons of food during all of this. This should be a food experience. In fact, make themed dishes
That'll keep you engaged while the movies aren't engaging.
Yes. But so
I'm gonna go Quantum Mania for 3.
I was gonna end on Quantum Mania, but explain to me why you go Quantum Mania 3.
Because I think you need a reward after Madam Web, like you need to be treated. And I do think, as bad as that movie is, a lot of its flaws are logic-based and like MCU-based. I think coming off of Madam Web, you'll actually like Quantumania more than we all did, because we went in with MCU expectations, and it's bad because it like is purposeless. But compared to Madam Web, it's fucking cinema. And I do think there's a decent performance out of Jonathan Majors. The problem was, he doesn't get to do any, like, he clearly knows who Kang is, but the writer and director didn't seem to. Like, the movie didn't allow him to be Kang, even though he did. So I think that you need to reward yourself with that. Even though it's like a fucking 4, it's still better than the 1 that is Madam Web. I don't think you come back and I don't think you sandwich the 2 worst in the middle. I think you need to momentum dip, and I think Morbius is like,
I was going to say,
yourself,
though,
it might be entertaining.
But I was going to say, though, that all right, this is my logic. I get your logic, and I will I will co-sign that unless I can convince you of this. Okay. Yes, Quantumania is the best of the bunch out of these 4. It's still not great, but it's the best of the bunch as far as like being an entertaining movie with great people. Every time someone shows up and they talk, you go, "Oh, I like that. They're talking. I don't care what they're saying, but and
it's good to see them."
And there's some really good comedy in it. There's, it's ugly as sin, but it's still,
but Paul Rudd's still with you.
Yes, and it's the best of the bunch. So, Morbius is really bad, but it can be at times very unintentionally funny and accidentally good in the way a bad movie is. Madam Web is so bad that by chasing it with Morbius, it will make Morbius a better movie for you.
So we have a similar concept here.
But I think
just different execution.
Yeah, I think it will make. I think the idea is that like you do the harder thing
in the middle.
Because it's like you coming off of Madam Web, Morbius is, you're gonna be like, cinema. But if you watch,
you know what? I agree. I changed mine. I think you Sony sandwich.
Right?
I think
do you get what I'm saying though?
Like Sony, Marvel, and you have a little bit of a cleanser.
Because I do think
I'm with you.
I do think that the end of Quantumania is like, that's kind of a thing that happened. It actually has like a nice cultivation of an ending.
Also, canonically, it's multiversal, so all these movies could be in one universe by ending with Quantumania.
There you go.
What a journey you're about to have. I'm sorry. We didn't do this.
Please check back in, Mitch. Can I call you Mitch? Mitchy, one of my favorite names, Mitch. It's from City Slickers. Mitchy the Kid. Anyways.
Yeah, first time, long time, and he comes at us with this heat. This is good luck.
Fantastic. And I will not be doing this marathon, but I do really want to hear how it goes. I want to hear if you ate food. I want to hear who you hung out with, how you did it, what was the setup, were there breaks? Because I'm going to tell you this, don't take a break after Madam Web.
You won't come back.
You don't take a break after Madam Web. Go right in from Madam Web to Morbius. Take the breaks in between first and second and third and fourth.
Also, a follow-up, when you've watched it with someone, if you could let us know 2 or 3 months later if you still are friends with them, because they might not ever want to speak to you again. So we need like a reality TV reunion episode to let us know how that went down. Because this could end friendships.
It really it could be rough. I do stand by our order though. I think
I think Jake's right, and I think this is actually a good test of friendship. So if this was like a person you were going to ask to be like your best man, like this is kind of the best way to really know a ride or die's limits. So that is going to do it for this episode. Speaking of ride or die limits, thank you all for bearing with us as we do a little special episode here, but also we're going to be a little more off schedule potentially. We might be back and fine by this point.
We have no idea, but bear with us.
As of recording, chaos. I'm going to be at Comic-Con on the 25th.
That'll probably happen already at this point.
But I'm letting you guys know that if the next day after would be when we usually record, Jake took a lot of the heat last time. I'm also acknowledging that I couldn't have recorded that week, so we're going to get back when we can. But also to our patrons, please do check out the Patreon, where we review all sorts of goodness on movies and TV basis, but also some vinyl stuff I talk about sometimes. We talk about plays sometimes, but that is usually every week, and we've been very good about that. We literally have hit about 200 episodes. That said, the reason of the delay here is travel and setup, so that this is a time where we might not be as good about that just because of literal recording circumstance. The good news is, after one more bit of chaos, after this bit of chaos, it'll be a lot easier a lot more of the time, and this shouldn't be happening again
Also-
after we get sorted.
Also, in just a couple months' time, should be back in LA, and we should be back in person, which would be lovely.
Yeah, that's what I was implying, is like in a long enough timeline, this will be back to even better than ever. Because I think we've gotten better at podcasting, but it's also tricky over Zoom. So our skill plus in person.
Maybe I have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give it to Jake. Jake's 10% improvement, my 5% worse. It's still a 5% improvement of the pod. But that is going to do it for, at least I'm not as video-based.
You
as
still
I was
say
the first 2
filming.
years.
You do still say filming. Oh, we're going to be filming. We're going to be
We'll
filming
film again in the
week.
next 6 weeks. In the next 6 weeks, we'll be back to filming. And frankly, I'm waiting to develop the film that we clearly filmed this on in the 1970s. We're doing this like Jaws style.
Yeah, I think a couple of them
not
still
only
do
is this not recorded, it's filmed. But that is going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you again for your patience. And do check out koicast.com if you're hankering for some early fall merch. We are somehow more than halfway through the year, which means we're somehow approaching the fall. You got kids, they want to put them in the Koicast merch for school. Have people ask questions like, what does your kid listen to? Well, these two geniuses of pop culture, that's what. It's going to be so weird when there's like another generation of Koicast listeners, because we're like going into year 5. So inevitably, that's happening. Anyway, that's another episode. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening.
What the fuck just happened?
Well, a generation is between 5 and 10 years. So people that have listened to us have had kids that have aged enough to start listening.
I just couldn't process. That's all.
It's a lot. It's jarring. Like, people that started listening to us when they were like 20 or 25 now might be having kids. People that had kids that were 10 when we started are 15 now. They might listen to us on their own. We have multi-generational potential, Jake. It's jarring. Okay. It's jarring. All right. Much love, Koicast listeners. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you, as always, for comic books existence. Much love. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to Dragon Wagon Radio. If you're enjoying this show, check out DragonWagonShop.com and get yourself some sweet merch while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. That's DragonWagonShop.com.
It's Dragon Wagon.